Hi everyone, welcome and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Rochelle Laird Smith and I'm from Stamping Flair. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Melbourne in Australia. Today I've got a card for you using the lovely Arrangements bundle, which is part of our online exclusives range, which was just released a couple of days ago, actually on Tuesday the 6th of January. It's part of a larger suite called the Lovely Blossom Suite. It's got designer series paper, which you can partially see here. I will be using or creating my card using a sketch, which is a sketch that has been released by Stampin' Up as part of their creative challenge, which they have each month. So this month, their creative challenge is a sketch. And I thought it would be fun to create this card using that sketch. So I want to show you some other ways you can use it and share with you a different card. And I hope it's going to be a process video. So let's see how we go. And I've got a few pieces cut, but as you can see, that sketch had lots and lots of bits. So I have used a lot of the designer series paper. I'm going to bring in more and try and work out what I can use, and also show you some of the sticker sheet, which I got the designer series paper with the sticker sheet. You can get the DSP on its own, and you can get one with the sticker sheet, or you can get it as part of like a scrapbook in range. So this, I thought it would be nice to be able to use some of these too. So I wanted to add that to my collection, which is really nice. You've got those nice borders and things like that. So I added that to my stash, so to speak. And so let's see what we do. Now, on this sketch, there was a border on the side, and I'm thinking of doing that border. So I've got a crumb cake base because I'm not sure whether to go with border in this in the floral, because I think it may be a little bit too much. You can shout at me and go, no, that is just too much. I do like that piece of designer series paper, though I'm a little bit partial to it, but I think a plain white might be the way to go there. So white's always safe, and then we can, or even, that's too short. And it doesn't have to be the full length, does it? See, this is me overthinking already. It doesn't have to be the full length even. You can, a sketch is just that. It's just purely inspirational. All right, so I'm going to cut that side down. Let me just pull that up a little bit so you get a bit more view. And that's the straight side. So we'll trim that down, and then I can, this is purely from my scraps. I'm getting a bit, and then if I wanted to, I can make that smaller. And what I wanted to do is get my perennial postage dies and see if I can just see how that looks to make it a touch smaller, and give it this beautiful border, right? Which will be just So that kind of is just on that a smaller card size. I can extend that, so let's start with that, and we'll make the border to go right across that whole strip because I do want it there. So to do that, we'll just I'm gonna push that off the edge and then I'll join it up. So you have that. The second plate doesn't go over, so it's not gonna cut. And then we can match that up. Do some partial die cutting here. And then we have to kind of do it on the other side. That messes my head up when I do it the opposite. You can do it. Yeah, let's do it this way. So now it will pop in pretty much. So when you do that, so see those little postage, the where it's cut, it'll pop right in those little sections. So what you need to do is just pop them back in and it'll just sit there. If you wanted to, we could put a little bit of washi just to hold it, just to make sure it doesn't move. All right, just some added security. Let's just pop back in. And now this time, I don't want that to go over. So I'll push that there. And I'm putting my plate not over that. All right. I think it moved here. Let's put another bit of washi here. Sometimes when the plates are askew, because that's not how they're really meant to be, they have trouble. So let's do it this way. And I only need it to go that little bit because it doesn't need to go through the whole thing. Right. Alright, so then we have a full length of a border. I'll probably do a little bit of blending and things, so we'll do that in once we've worked out what we are doing. This is what I have in mind, but what I end up doing is another story, so let's work it out. All right, so we've got that. And I'm going to have the border sticking, just a bit of glue, but it's not. All right, so that will stick like that. And don't worry about that little dot. I'll sort that out. I've got a few dies as well, so I may do a little bit of die cutting, and I've got a little, that's from the things like for this particular setup or for this particular sketch, things like the textured notes dies, the stylish shapes dies are going to give you those rectangles, the squares that is in that sketch. Not that you have to follow that particular way, you can substitute this with shapes. All right, so let me look back at my sketch. So I'm going back and forth so I have a bit of an idea. I did, this one's gonna go under there. And I'm gonna cut another one of this. I did have another one. It's, you know, things go missing on this. All right, and I'm trying to bring a bit of balance so it's not too hectic by adding the same sort of design. And then there was a little piece there as well. So we've got a bit of the same design going through, which I feel is important for something with so many bits going. I mean, that's just my style. Now you might do something completely different, and that is fine. But for me, I felt it was just a little bit too many bits and bobs going on, and that was just too much for me. Too much hecticness. What's your style of crafting? Do you like bright colors? Do you like softer colors? My go-to, generally, I would go for my softer colors, but I do dabble, so it's okay. Nice to, sometimes nice to try different things. But. Okay, so this is a nice petrol pink, which I think I will use. I do like this as well, but I think that might be too much design if I'm bringing it in. That's a nice bit of old olive, which could bring in. And there's another piece which I liked, and I'm going to cut into this, but that's okay. You can cut into it. So what I need is just a little bit of this, and I'm going to die cut out of it. I'm going to cut it out of this bottom bit because I'm most likely to use that top bit when if I do use that. I find that I don't use a lot of these larger pieces, so I'll just cut a bit of that. If I say it softly, no one will know. No. It's like I'm giving myself permission. All right, so we'll just do one of them, which will go there. There's a piece there, and I like to balance it out with the same kind of thing. Then there is also, okay, so I'm chomping in this thing, and now I'm going straight in through this. There was, okay, let me see if there's one without having to cut right through. Oh yeah, let's do this one. Okay, so that's a nice, I know already chopped through. These little pieces are nice designs which you can use. So you can use them on cards as is, but sometimes it offers you a little bit something different. So that can go under there. So that's a smaller piece there. And we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. So I will start a bit of die cutting. And we need, okay, yeah. I know I have an idea. All right, so let's first do this, and we'll cut that square so we can balance that. First thing. And one down there. Then I'm going to bring in, there's a center kind of panel, which I'll die cut. So I'll bring in that old olive. Right, it's a different design, but that's okay. We can, and I'm going to die cut it with maybe this one. Oh, this is a big die, but again, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, let's do that one. We can shorten it. We can shorten it. Alright. And then we do this. You might not even need to, because it sometimes if you place your elements right, you might not even need to do all that. But I will, just in case. Again, that pops back in. I only need the top section done. So I'm just going to run the first half through and pull, not go right through. So then we've got a shorter rectangle there, which will be good for our little design. Okay, so far that I'm just kind of, I'm following the sketch as pretty much as is. So to make that, because as I said, there is a lot of stuff going on here. There's one more piece there, so that might go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 pieces. 1, 2, 3. I'm counting how many pieces there are. 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll cut this one down. Actually, this could even go under here. That's a bit of a bigger piece, I think. Okay, that might work better. So that's a bottom panel done. We've got our bottom panel. We've got our top panel. I can pull that down a bit. I like how this, when I first saw this sketch, I was thinking, whoa, that's a lot. But as you work with it, it's all right. It is okay, guys. You've got to work with things, try things. And that's what it's, this is out of my comfort zone. I normally don't have so much happening. But it's okay. All right, so that's that, that's that. Now I know I didn't want this, I wanted this down here, but that's all right. So instead, I will put a bit of this pattern going that way, which will break up the greens, I think. And let's measure, maybe, yeah, that way. We'll have 2.5 by 4, just a little one. And I think a little bit of crumb cake would be nice to break it up the other way. Do 5 and cut it down if necessary. So this is tone on tone, this piece, and then it's not too much, I feel. Now I did cut it longer than I did think it was necessary, so if needed, I'm going to cut this down. This is one of those things you kind of got to feel and do it. It's like a little jigsaw. Right, and this one can go a little bit shorter. We can tuck that in under there. And we need one more piece to complete our little jigsaw. And what I feel the joining might be a piece of crumb cake of sorts. But how that is going to fit is another thing. Now there's this bit which is nice, like it has a texture on it, and it's just going to be right here. Just going to go over that 3 centimeters by 2. It's just very little. I'm going to cut from the top here. Doesn't matter. And then if we add any more like bits and pieces, we can cover up anything like that. Did he have a heart attack when I cut that flower off? Oh. It's unlikely that I'm going to use that on anything in its entirety, so I'm okay with that. All right, so I think that just brings a bit of neutral element to that, and I'll probably cut it just that little too much, but a bit big, but that's all right. We don't even need that much, definitely. 3, 2.5. So as you can see, this is just a pure way. You gotta go with your feels. Feel the feels. And this is a great sketch for using up your scraps. All right, so now let me bring in some blending, and we're gonna start putting this piece together. I'm going to start with some crumb cake because I think it needs a base to build that on. And then I can cover up whatever that is with some clever camouflaging. So a base of crumb cake Then I am going to bring in I think it's too dark. I'm trying to find a light blending brush. This is a light color. And we'll use some petal pink. It's probably hiding somewhere. Yeah. I've been using petal pink a lot lately. And I'm going to bring it in up the top there. I don't, just make sure it's coming out petal pink. You don't want it brown. Petal pink is a light shade of, I would say it's got a very light shade of coal. I think anyway. Just trying to build up a little bit of that petal pink more on that side. And then I'll bring in crumb cake. I'll just see what that looks like on my crumb cake. Yeah, that the petal pink does lift it. Makes a difference with that, just creating that ombre kind of look. I'm also going to bring in a little bit of pecan pie, and that brings a touch of warmth, I find, to any project. It just gives depth. You can just see that where crumb cake feels more cooler color, even though it's a brown, it just adds a bit of a cooler color. Your pecan pie is going to add that depth. For my little ombre panel here. I'm going to bring in my dark petal pink stamping blend. I'm going to do a little bit of splattering. It's not going to show much. It's probably, no, it's not really doing much. So let's go with maybe I'll go pecan pie. Straight to the pecan pie. Let's skip crumb cake. I'm going light pecan pie to start with. Yeah, that's it. And right across the and it's done the desired camouflaging. Then again, I might just add a few. Let's see where there's some splatter kind of stamp. just got this right here, which is I'm just pulling out something I've got at hand, or even something like that, which is from the Petals of Beauty, and that's not a bad little stamp to add. I know it's the center of the flower, but it'll do the job of just adding some extra texture on this. Normally it's stamped before you splatter, but this is my afterthought, so it's okay. We just go with what we do. My petal pink is needing some inking, so it's very, very light. So see how you go when you ink, when you stamp. If you manage to stamp off to get a light touch on your stamping. So let's put this down. Oh, I do like how that turned out. It just offers some contrast, doesn't it? Alrighty. So this is just a matte layer, which I'm using in crumb cake. So I do have a crumb cake card base as well. I'm using the matte layer just to lay my pieces down. I did toss up whether to do white, and I thought, no, let's do something which I normally don't do. And I think the crumb cake goes really well with these colors of the designer series paper, and so it's worth a try. Crumb cake is a nice new color. So now we're back to doing this, laying out the pieces, what we had. And I know I had it all laid out, but let's do this now. I can tuck that in, gives it a bit of flow, like as just lifting that up so I can just push things in there. This one can go in here. Are you liking the color combination? Do you like this suite? The designer series paper is just beautiful. It's one of my favorites. And I know we had lots of releases with online exclusives and things, but it's just one of my favorites. And the new catalog, of course, but just so pretty. We had a little. We may even stamp a sentiment on this. Let's see. Of course, mine's like a little bit different, like the widths and things like that. I think that crumb cake piece grounds it a little bit. It just then brings order to the busyness. I was going to say the chaos. It's not chaotic, but I don't feel so anyway. But then we've got this little piece that goes under here. I'm going to push that a little bit higher. That goes there. What's on this side? So we have that. And then we have this piece which is going to intersect here. So this one is going to be much shorter. This way. That's one of my favorites, that piece. I love those flowers. They're so pretty. This one is going to go like that. Well, it's like one of those crossword puzzles, I tell you what. Stampin' Up is trying to get my brain going first part of the year. Yeah, that's fine. It's come together. Okay. Now, how does that look, guys? Tell me. Are you feeling it? How you feel? Right, do I add a little bit of this on this side? No. We'll leave it. So let's stick it down. Stick it down. Recommit, and then I can add any bits and pieces I want. Because we can. I will probably put a flower or something on this. I did think for one of these whether I could add one of these stickers. Let's see. Let's see. No, that's not it. This is it. Because if you flip it, now let's go really berserk. You could put something here, you know, but what about instead of this? I don't want to mess it up. Ugh. Do I mess it up? Okay. Oh, yes. I think that looks nice. Add some detail on that. Yep. All right. I just changed my mind. Just like that. Poor crumb cake got left behind. I think that balances it really nicely, that little sticker. I could this guy can go under there because I've changed. It's got to be a wider piece under there, but there's nothing stopping me from just changing it up a bit, right? I think from what I feel, so I'm basically following the same kind of sketch. I'm just widening the elements here. So I'm still using that crumb cake, but I'm just adding it in a different, adding different widths. That might be okay. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, and so they're in lots of 3. If you've noticed, so there we're still having that design element of sets of 3. See, I have slightly changed the width, and you would have seen in Stampin' Up's design when they did it, they actually swapped some of the squares for flowers, and that's something you can do when you create with this sketch. So if you make a card and share it to your socials, make sure you use the hashtag Creative Challenge SU, so that if anyone's looking or Stamping Up look to see who's created with this sketch, they just type in that, and you can find that too if you're looking for people who have made this sketch, any projects using this sketch. It's easy to find, any of our creative challenges. And that. Then we have that. There. Okay, guys, I think we're done there with that for now. So I'm going to bring in my crumb cake card base, and that I think is slightly crooked, I feel. But I'm going to add a bit of a flower. Okay, so that is something I would have never done, had so many bits and pieces, but I am quite liking that. So give it a try. Definitely give it a try. It may surprise you. So let's do a little, I think I'll do the little one. The little bitty one. Orange. This bundle has so many nice elements. I love the background dyes too. They're so nice. Now, I'll get some tuxedo, or should I do it in brown? Tuxedo sounds good. Let me get my tuxedo in pad. Which is here. I think when there's a lot of passion going on, the black gives what I would say stabilizes it. Color. Let's go petal pink. And this is just light petal pink. dark petal pink. I'm just adding some shading just quite quickly here. Use the brush tip for that, and then I'll add the shading on the lower end of the flower, the bottom of the flower with my bullet end. Then I'll bring in back my light. I think that'll come up nicely. And then for the leaves, we'll just go with Old Olive. I think that works nicely. I've got some scraps. I'm trying to use up my drawer full of scraps. I might just do one leaf. Hopefully that fits. Ooh, it may not. Might be just a little bit short. How do you store your scraps? Do you have a system where you just get rid of some scraps when they're a little bit past a size, or do you keep everything? Ooh, that's not good. Let me do it on the other side. Oh, I can see a little problem there. Give it a clean. No idea what that was. All right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Now to find the scrap, eh? Okay, here we are. I have a bit. There we go. That's better. Much better. So get our dies. Now these are the dies. I was saying they're just really, really nice. Those background and dies that cut the circles, you can use those. I showed you the other day in another video how to create, use them for like a border. What I do, I have my dies sort of at the back, so I don't have to pull everything normally out, in the sense of pulling the piece of paper that comes with the instructions or whatever it is. Because then it just saves me pulling it out every time, and I don't like particularly doing that if I can help it. Take the stickiness off that. This is a lovely leaf. It's just regular leaf. You know, has that nice look. I think I've already got my money's worth out of the set. I'm running it through my stamping card and emboss machine, and I knew that moved a little bit, but it's just at the bottom. I'll decide whether I need another one. Um, we need another one. I think it just lacks. Oh, I could do some die cut, just straight die cut leaves, which are in this set as well, and we could do some out of maybe some crumb cake actually. Let's do that. These are actually quite delicate, these leaves. They sometimes I've had them stick to my plates because they're very delicate, and I was going to say fragile, not fragile, but they are thin. Fragile is probably the wrong word. They're very sweet and lots of detail in it. Gives you another texture for your arrangement, which is nice. Now we'll pick a sentiment and off the stamp set, which I'll put somewhere. So you've got a bunch of sentiments, which I love. So you've got just a night, happy birthday, you are so lovely. You can do sending smiles, always here for you. Hello, friend. Thank you, love you. You can say love you so very much. Thank you so very much. So a few different ones you can use. I'm going to pick one of the smaller ones because my culture is always a happy birthday, because there's always a birthday. Someone's always having a birthday. And you can, and because of the how the design is, I think it would be nice to have a smaller sentiment. Now I have that little gap there, so I'm going to fill that out. Fiddle with that in a sec. This could even go directly on that, but I will not risk that. And I think I wanted that. It's just such a nice little element that I'd like to leave that as well. So I've got again a bit of scrap, and I'll Or maybe I'll use pecan. Should I use pecan or tuxedo? Pecan, I think. Yeah. I love these sentiments that are just a straight sentiment, easy to insert into any design or any layout because it doesn't take a lot of space and it just works, and you can add it on top of a floral arrangement. It doesn't cover it up too much. I like those type of sentiments because they're just nice. That's probably my favorite style. I do like lots of nice fonts, but these are my go-to sentiments. Just trim this side down. So that needs a little bit, it's a bit wonky on one side, so at least I can feel it. I don't think I do, I risk it, but I do. The set could go very wrong. Okay, one side is done, and maybe the other side needs a little bit of a shave. Now it's just right. Let's see how that looks there. I'll put some linen thread because of course linen thread will be just work beautifully here. I'm putting the old olive here because I feel it looks nicer on that end instead of blocking all the design. And it stands out better on a blended border. Right. And we could do something like that. I think that needs to, yeah, that looks better. All right. I'm just going to tuck that flower up there. Put one dimensional. I think the layout is such it sort of sits better there. Then I'll put a couple of dimensionals in here. And I'll add a bit of glue to the rest. that crumb cake leaf has got attached to the dimensional, which is okay, which is kind of what I envisaged it would do, but maybe I want it on top here, so which will take it off. And a few dots of glue. You can have some leaves there. And you can tuck in one under there. So you get the double leaf and the single leaf, so you can get a few cut out at the same time. Getting a bit of fullness. We have old olive thread. We have a few we could go with. We could go old olive, we can go linen, or we can even go an early espresso, but I'm perhaps leaning towards this. And then once I have worked out, this is the combination one where you get the old olive and the early espresso in one. Linen thread's always a winner. Let's see how that looks. Now I'm going to try the regular linen thread, because maybe that old olive is blending too much. Against that olive, so all right. Let me know, what do you think? Which one did you prefer? I haven't decided yet. While I'm fiddling with this boy, what is your preference? What would you pick for your boy? Linen thread or old olive? I think I'm going with the linen thread, guys. Like the regular linen thread. They're both linen thread. I think it's kind of standing out better for me. It feels more I like it. Okay, and then we can just tuck that. Now then I can have a place to put my sentiment, and I know where it's going to sit, because sometimes when you put the sentiment and then the linen or whatever your boys comes, it just sort of adjusts it a bit, and it covers the sentiment. Here I know where my bow is sitting. I can put it straight down. Do you reckon he'll try this sketch out? Here or here? Here or here? Questions. Maybe here. Only because here it covers that sort of design, the sketch part. Okay, there we go. That's done. Okay, now for the base, I'm going to just add dimensionals all around this. You can use the form sheets as well, just cut it down. I actually haven't replenished my form sheets. It's kind of one of those things I forget to order, and then I'm kind of a little bit lazy, and then I use these instead, because you have to cut them down, and dimensionals are easy. Use them. To line it up saves me as I'm trying to do it quicker. Go get a head over it. I'm trying not to block the camera, but start from like top or bottom, whatever is easiest for you, because you've got dimensionals all over it. It gets a bit tricky sometimes. So just do it as best as you can. If you don't press it down, you can adjust as I'm doing. Once you are 100% sure, then you can like press. Now, embellishments is, for embellishments, I have got Moody Palette Gloss Dots, which are part of this suite. Now they come in, let's get rid of these dimensional backings. In your Secret Z Old Olive Cloud Cover and white. I feel white is nice on this. And even you can, the good thing when they're on the sheet, you can just place it and see what your preference is. You can color the white with crumb cake if you wanted to, and I might even do that, or with whatever color you like. I might even do that just to see what it's like. Crumb cake, or even pecan pie. And if this is not dark enough, I might go with pecan pie. You do need to leave it a little while to dry, and then I would leave it a couple of minutes. It's coming up good, and then you can put another coat. It's going to make it darker. So let's just see what that looks like. Oh, I actually do like that. Just bring some warmth into that. I'll leave that to dry while I just give my desk a bit of a clean. That's what's good. You can sort your desk out. All right, so I think that's enough. I can, as long as the color is not moving underneath, otherwise it's going to keep blending and moving the color. You can see a little bit it's moving, but I'm trying to get it done. I've got a bit darker there, and I could leave it a little bit more. In the meantime, let me do the inside of the card, stamping or whatever I feel. I feel like this might feel like it's a shame, but wouldn't this look pretty on the inside? Just a simple border, and you can write on it. You can put white if you want, but I'm just keeping it easy. This is the sticker sheet. I'm just taking that and cut it. That just adds a nice finish, and you've got that design there. Pop that back in here. You can use it again. Get yourself one of those sticker sheets there. Handy as. Alright. I think we're right to put these little dots on. Just gonna add a little bit of glue under that little leaf because it's sitting under. It's lifting a little bit. See, there. I can feel it. There was glue, but not enough. So, and I wanted to lift or curl the leaf a bit more. And for the envelope, let's finish the envelope too. Use your designer series paper. It's pretty and it's worth using. So I'm going to use this side and I'm going to cover the top, the flap. You get 3 sheets of each. So it's a different sort of designer series pack. So you get 3 sheets of each. So there's lots of if you love a design, you're going to get a lot of it. which is really nice. You could have used either side because we did like we didn't use this particular color. You could have used the other sheet with that color as well, with the paper with the florals on it. Okay, because we had so much designer series paper on this card, any of those would have worked. And they coordinate so nicely, our paper, that's the beauty of it, and that's what Stampin' Up is known for. So anything like that works nicely. So here is our card. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please check out the product list below. You can shop that in my online store if you live in Australia. Uh, any orders currently over $90. So when your order reaches $90, you will get a bonus days coupon. That bonus days promotion is on until the 2nd of February. So every $90 you spend, you will earn a bonus days coupon. So there's no limit to what you can earn. So the more you shop, the more coupons you're going to earn. So it's a good time to shop. And if your order reaches 125, you will also qualify to purchase the product of the month. This month's product of the month is a stamp set, the Fabulous Saying stamp set. And that our product of the month is $9. So you're getting a stamp set which you can purchase for $9 when your order reaches 125. Orders over 90, I also provide you with a free tutorial bundle, which is the Create With Us tutorial bundle, and you get 14 tutorials this month using our new products. So lots of inspiration in there. So if I can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to just message me, give me a call. My phone number is on my website, which is stampingflair.com. You find lots of inspiration. Don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter. You get a new tutorial each week. And I hope you have enjoyed this. Please join in the challenge. Try out a new card. Share it on social media. It's just nice to be inspired. And I love seeing what you do. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.